Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Pokemon 24/7. My name is Mikey, and I'm here to bring you my deck list for the Dialga V-Star and Metang Metal Maker. This deck is got some older cards, got some newer cards. With the recent rotation, losing Path to the Peak, losing a lot of cards that really would influence Dialga, and then getting Metal Maker Metang has really upped the popularity of Dialga. I love this deck. I believe in this deck. I'm not trying to convert anybody here, but it's a pretty good deck, I feel, so that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So let's start off with the Pokemon. I run 4 Beldum and 4 Metang. Like I said, Metang, Metal Maker, get those steel energies onto your Dialga V-Star or your Zamazenta or even your Mew if you're in a pinch. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, attach any metal energy you find there to your Pokemon any way you'd like. And it's not once per turn, so you can do that as many times as you like for as many Metangs as you have. Next up, we got three of the Dialga V and V-Star. Dialga V-Star, Star Chronos, 5 energy, 220, take another turn. Taking another turn is always good. 220 is a pretty decent number. We have some cards in the deck to really get that number up just a little bit. We'll see those a little bit later. Then I do one Bidoof Barrel. Just got to have a draw engine. It's pretty handy if you're in a pinch. We have the blocking ability of Bidoof on the bench, and then Industrious Incisors. Draw until you have 5. Can't beat that. Good card. Then 1 Zamazenta. Retaliate. You can swing for 220 if your opponent was knocked out last turn. Good attack. Knocking out most Pokemon V. Chen Pao's, anything with a metal weakness, good. Very, very good. Mew EX, trying to get some more draw power. Restart, draw until you have 3. Mew and Barrel have their ups and their downs in the deck. I'm not completely sold on the Mew EX, but that genome hacking can really come in handy in the late game if you really need it to. Alright. So next up, guys, we're going to have the item cards. I do 3 Ultra Ball and 3 Nest Ball, as well as 3 Buddy Buddies. Nest Ball and Buddy Buddy, you just want to get your bench loaded with those Beldums so you can evolve them into Metangs. Maybe get a Dialga V started up. You got the Ultra Balls to go get a Barrel, Dialga V-Star if needed. Just an easier way to get those Pokemon out of your deck and either into your hand on the bench or in the discard pile. We want to really up the probability that we're going to hit our Metal Makers every turn. And that's a good way to do it. Get them on the bench, make sure they're active and ready to go. I play 3 Super Rods. Now that kind of might be overkill, but like I said, we just want to increase the probabilities of those Metal Makers. Instead of a Super Rod, instead of 1 Super Rod and 1 Buddy Buddy, I would take those out, and I would put in maybe the 1/1 Scyther Scizor. Scizor's attack, 1 metal, 10 plus 50 for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play that has an ability. So you can swing for 260 naturally, or if your opponent's weak to metal, you can swing up to 500. It's a very good attack, not a whole lot of energy costs. But for now, I'm going to try running the 3 Buddy Buddies and the 3 Super Rods. Next up, we got 1 Lost Vacuum, just to kind of disrupt your opponent a little bit. I used it in a match against OG, getting rid of one of his future booster capsules, the one that gives free retreat, just to kind of get one of his Pokemon locked in the active zone. It's good. I don't feel as if we need more than one in the deck, just because who knows what card you have to lost zone to do that, and lost zoning a card, you can't get it back for the rest of the game. One counter catcher, in my experience, you're going to end up at least a prize or two behind. That's okay. This deck is made to come from behind a little bit. Star Chronos, take that extra turn. You'll be okay. Trust in the deck. But counter catcher, if you have more prizes than your opponent, switch one of your opponent's Pokemon to the active. It's a boss's order, but it's not using up your supporter for the turn, which makes it even better. Speaking of boss's orders like cards, Prime Catcher is the 8 spec that I use in this deck. Switch your opponent's active Pokemon and then switch your active Pokemon. Good card. It's like a boss and a counter catcher, but it's an item. Doesn't give up your supporter for a turn. Love it, love it, love it. Next, we have Choice Belt. Just a card. Get rid of those pesky Pokemon Vs or Pokemon V Stars that have a little bit higher HP. I'm looking at you, Entei. This card I put in specifically for you, Shui, and your Entei. Just a good card to have on deck. TM Evolution. I run one of those just to get some evolution Pokemon out as soon as possible. You can never have too many Metangs on the bench. Maybe evolve a Metang and a Dialga V in the same turn. Good for going second, turn one, get evolutions out there, start metal making your second turn. So that is it for the items. On a side note, Maximum Belt might be a good play instead of the Prime Catcher. Still doing some testing, but I really like the Prime Catcher over the Maximum Belt. Shout out to Shui for ordering this for me and getting it today. Next, we have our supporters. First up, we have 3 Ionos. Good for getting unwanted cards to the bottom of the deck. Increase the probability of getting some metal energies. Disrupt your opponent in the late game a little bit if you're down in prizes. Iono to 1. Iono your opponent down to 1 or 2, let's say. Star Chronos, take 4 prizes, win the game right there. I've seen it happen. Iono, it's a staple. Can't go wrong with a couple in your deck. Next up, we have 4 Arvins. Arvin, get an item and a tool card from your deck. That's how we're going to search out the Super Rods, the TM Evolution, Choice Belt, Prime Catcher, Counter Catcher, Lost Vacuum. Very, very useful card. Very, very, it's just very good to get those items and tools that you need. You can use it turn 1 going second, or you can use it on the last turn to win the game. Let's say Star Chronos, knock out a Luminion. They promote something that you don't really have a way of bossing up at the time. Arvin, get that Prime Catcher, knock out your choice of Pokemon pretty much with Metal Blast. You're hitting up to 280 with 6 energies. I wouldn't go any higher than that, but it's a good combination card with that Star Chronos along with the Iono. Speaking of disruption, we have 2 bosses orders. I was running 1, but I love bosses. I want to play 4, even though the deck probably doesn't need 4. I want to, so I settled on 2. Stay tuned because that will probably change to 3. But Only two, because you have the prime catcher, you have the counter catcher. You should be okay with two. If you add a third or a fourth one, maybe take out an Arvin, take out an Iono. But for right now, two Boss's Orders. All right, and that's all the supporters. Not a very heavy supporter count. But to end, we have 16 metal energies. These metal energies, you want to have them either in the deck or your discard pile. You could always super rod them back. That's cool. But you want them in the deck so you can metal maker and get them attached to your Dialga V-Stars. 16, it's a pretty good number, I feel, because if you think about it, in my experience, you want to have one Dialga V-Star good to go, 5 to 6 energies, can attack, can hit pretty hard. You want to have a second one on the bench, maybe 1 or 2 getting started up, and then maybe a Zamazenta or a secondary attacker for 3 extra energies. So if we're doing the math there, say 6 on Dialga, another 2 on the other one, that's 8, plus another 3, we're already at 11. So that doesn't really leave a whole lot of wiggle room with the deck. But like I said, I believe in this deck. I believe in Dialga V and V-Star, believe in the Prime Catcher, and I believe in Metal Maker. Sequencing is a big part of this deck. It's very easy to Star Chronos, play 2 supporters in that Star Chronos turn because you're just running fast. You want to end the game quick. Taking extra prizes by mistake. I've made that mistake plenty of times. And then not putting the Metal Maker cards to the bottom of the deck. So if you get 2 energy and 2 supporters, those supporters, they go to the bottom of the deck. Do not shuffle your deck. That's a very easy way to forfeit the game. 2 prize penalty, 3 prize penalty, whatever it may be. But if you are shuffling those cards back into your deck, there is no way to get the board state back to how it was. And unfortunately, that could end in a game loss for you. This is the deck that I plan on playing at the next Cup on April 27th over at River City Hobbies. But yeah, I'll end the video there. Thank you guys for joining me today. Like, comment, subscribe. And look forward to our video on Thursday. Again at River City Hobbies, down with OG and Shuey. Gonna play some games, get our knowledge base up, get ready for this for the Cup. Thank you guys very much. Have a good day.